Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Putting the Human into Technology podcast. My name's Gethin Ellis, and today my special guest is none other than Mike Downing, who is the CTO of WPA, who are a not-for-profit health insurance company. Mike, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for the invite.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks for coming along. Now, I'll be clear up front to everybody who might be watching along. I've known Mike a very long time, so we know each other quite well. So it might seem like that's the case as well. But if it comes across like that, that's the reason why. But Mike, I'm going to ask you just to kick things off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and the organisation you work for, please.
Yes. So, Mike Downing, I'm the CTO at WPA Health Insurance. I've been working at WPA for 25 years. Just tell you a little bit about WPA. WPA Health Insurance is a not-for-profit health insurer. We're based in the UK market only. Our focus is on driving the business forward to enable excellent customer service. It's serving our customers that really matter to us. We do this through product and technology innovation. To enable this, we've got quite a large tech team for our size of company. Reason for this, we build and support all our own software. And we're always trying to push the boundaries on what tech can do for us.
Yeah.
Always trying to do the next thing, but not just to try it out with the target of improving that customer experience.
Cool. And I know that firsthand, having done some work with you previously. You guys are always on the sort of bleeding edge there, or it feels like you're always on the bleeding edge of new technology as it becomes available. So can you share just a little bit, Mike, how technology has transformed your organization over the years, and how it's helped you achieve its mission over the course of time? I know you've been very successful and done it very well.
Yeah, so just focusing in on building our own software. It's enormously rewarding, allows us to control our own destiny. It gives us a little bit of a differentiator against the market because we can change our software to match what the industry needs. We think it reduces our overheads. Internal development can be cheaper than buying products. And of course, you control the maintenance of them as well. It enables the business to be a tech-enabled business. So not tech first, but tech-enabled. That compares well against our peers in the market. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to focus on automation. Bottom line, as a not-for-profit, is staff costs. Anything we can automate, for the better. What you can automate now compared with 20 years ago, the whole game has changed, but that hasn't stopped us. Over 20 years, automate everything we can with the latest tech. We've got one core system, which we've improved over 20 years since it went live. Always trying to modernize it, add new features, and take advantage of the new technology in order to be different.
Yeah.
We try to run our projects to align with business strategy in order to support growth of the company and also ensure our customers get the best service.
Yeah, so it's all with the customer in mind then.
Exactly.
Just a sort of question really around the sort of you've built your own software over 20 years, and that's allowed you to be tech enabled. And you see that as a key differentiator between other insurance companies in your space who are buying probably COTS off the shelf products that they might customize, and it does help you, I guess, deviate a little bit. One of the things I see a lot of in an awful lot of tech stuff from certain suppliers is the advantage of buying off the shelf versus building your own from scratch, and you've kind of thrown that out the window.
Yes.
And you seem to stand by it. And if you look at all the sort of big successful technology enabled firms like I'm thinking Uber and Netflix, none of them are using COTS products. They've all written their own stuff, haven't they? Yeah.
But equally, it's about looking at what's happening in the market. Carrying on horizon scanning, seeing what other companies are doing.
Yeah.
And not just in our market, and not just in not-for-profits, not just in insurance. I think you just need to look wider. You mentioned Netflix there. Just look wider. What are other companies doing? What's changing their business? What's allowing them to grow? And then bring that back in-house. And if the in-house team to support it, you can then apply it.
You can apply it. Yeah, cool. So in terms of like sort of insurance specific things, like I always quote the old fraud detection type stuff. You must have loads of features that you can use to help you enable things that that would prevent fraud, because insurance companies are very sort of risk averse type places in my experience of them. And I don't think I'd be speaking out of turn if I said WPA was in terms of their risk averseness probably similar in a lot of ways. Like what cool stuff have you got going on that enable some of those important elements of running an insurance firm?
Yeah, just sort of delve into a couple of different projects or solutions we brought in. Quite a few years ago, we built an internal claims engine. So this assesses our claims, assesses our invoices, assesses treatment pre-authorization, that whole claims journey. And all of that is built from a little bit of an expert system, machine learning models, that all tie together to almost implement the mindset of a experienced claims treatment or invoice assessor.
Right.
And what we did there was bring together industry data, so human biology data, diseases data, and then overlaid our rules. So what you can claim for treatment and that in different circumstances.
Yeah.
Then linked it all together. So what condition leads to what condition, and that gives you a very well educated, experienced claims assessor, which runs 24/7, and yeah, it's consistent. We've maintained that for about 7 or 8 years. It runs the same decision making, whether you're an internal member of staff acting on behalf of the customer, or if a customer is using the web or the app. It's the same experience, same adjudication, same fairness.
I was going to ask you about the fairness and transparency. You've been very open about how it works in terms of like sort of bias mitigation and fairness. You've kind of taken all that into account, it seems. Yeah?
Exactly. Yeah. And because it's underpinned by industry data, so medical industry data. That's it's the same data that the hospitals of the NHS are using. So it's not a WPA specific model.
Yeah, gotcha. So it's industry wide data. Okay, fab. So it's always been on the bleeding edge and always delivering for the business to improve that customer experience. What would you say has been the biggest challenges you faced when it comes to implementing new technologies, and were they easy to overcome, or what challenges have you encountered on your journey?
I'd say one of the challenges as a small organization is that we need to drive business value. Every investment we make in technology or a project, we need to think of that business value. We need to ensure that the projects align with the overall business strategy.
Yeah.
But also control the spend. We don't want to spend a small fortune on a project we'll see how this develops. We need to do the appropriate horizon scanning. We need to do the appropriate due diligence to pick the correct products. But then we need the internal skills to match. So there is a fairly big learning curve for our staff, because we run everything internally. It's our small team within a small organization that has to deliver these things. So we encourage people to learn. We encourage people to try things out. We trust in people. We'll support them to deliver, to explore, and then trust in the solutions. We will pivot as a project rolls along. If we find things wrong, we will pivot. We will make those adjustments to ensure we deliver on target.
Yeah.
We'll reach out to industry or academia when we need help and advice. We're never going to solve everything ourselves, but by driving a growth mindset within our staff, supporting them as they explore and learn, and that it drives our solutions forward. We are always trying to do the next big thing, but applied to our domain, with a focus on the customers and the business. We look to architect, design, and develop these things internally. But yes, we at times we need external help. But the joy and success that an internal team feels when they've delivered something that's leading edge,
Yeah.
and they can be pride, they can show that pride across industries. It's quite remarkable.
Mm. Mm. And I know from sort of personal experience that what you've managed to sort of roll out there, and kind of where you are now. And I don't know what you're allowed to share and what you're not to share, but in terms of like where you are now and looking ahead, where do you see the future lying for WPA and technology? How do you see data and technology shaping the business's future?
Yeah, I'll delve into another project that we did. So this is going back about 6 years ago. We decided to use machine learning and deep learning to automate a
Yeah.
lot of our back office.
Yeah.
This we'd recorded what staff had done on various process flows for a long time, which gave us a great training set. We built that into models with a bit of traditional code to let it hang together, and we put something called assistants into play on the back office, sitting on the virtual workflows and completing work. That served us well over time, and delivered really well at the low to medium tasks, but
Yeah.
freed up people to do much more interesting work.
Right.
Over time, that's got tired. It needed more maintenance.
Okay.
So roll forward to September 23, and we delved into Gen AI and what that could bring for us.
Right.
Now, of course, everybody's heard of ChatGPT and what's happening in the AI world, but we quickly saw the value of agents,
Right.
so AI agents. So we re-architected, rebuilt our back office automation system to use Gen AI.
Okay.
And what that uses is LangChain, Python, together with controlled LLMs so that they're secure,
Yeah.
to carry out work on our back office on these process flows. So this could be classification, it could be adjudication, it could be processing tasks.
Wow.
We with LangChain and then LangGraph, we set up teams of agents that would complete work together, and it's quite curious to see this in action. We'll have doer agents
Yeah.
and validator agents and sort of referee agents all working together. I think our biggest team is 9 agents who
Wow.
work
Okay.
together on one task. That went live early 2024, and month on month we built up new capabilities in that area,
Wow.
through to agents supplying answers to questions. So agents will supply answers on our products, on our policies, and that.
And is that on the website, or is that on the web, and is it like empowering your actual people to get
It's
answers quickly for
it's all
customers?
internal, all internal. We have no intention to offer it up to customers. Customers want to speak to people.
Someone. Yeah.
But let's augment our internal staff by making sure they got the right answers at the right time when they're asked.
Right.
What we found with rebuilding this in Gen AI is the code base is much smaller.
Right.
So you're taking a intelligent agent, giving it some ground rules, and then putting it as part of the team, and the way it goes and does the work, you have to have the appropriate controls around it, but it's remarkable what it can do. Rolling that forward to what's coming next, there's a lot of talk in the industry about vertical AI agents.
Okay.
This is
So
rather than
explain that to me, mate, as someone who doesn't know what that is.
yes. So if you think of the agents we've used up until now,
Yeah.
they've been general purpose LLMs, general purpose AI. Vertical AI agents will start to come on the market in the next month or so. This is where tech companies have pre-trained agents to be a claims assessor, to be a underwriter, to be a stock controller. So these are agents that are pre-trained in your domain that then you can put into play into your systems. Of course, they'll only work if your systems are accessible to agents.
Yeah.
They'll only work if your systems are modern, and they'll only work if they match your needs. You can fine tune them.
Yeah.
And of course, you need appropriate controls around them to check that they're not doing things that they shouldn't.
Be. Yeah.
But that's where industry is going, and that's where we'll move to next. Is we'll design and build dedicated agents for different job roles.
Oh wow, okay. And I guess the question on my lips at this moment is, I was talking to someone last week who were doing. They were looking at AI assistance and the return on investment they've got on that. How how do you measure that? Do you have you got any sort of figures that would blow me away in terms of like cost savings, cost efficiencies, value that's been delivered?
Nothing I can really share.
Right. Okay.
The way we measure it is everything the agents do, we track. So each piece of work is tracked, whether it gets complete by a human or an agent.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can very much see where the agents are making a difference.
Yeah.
And that will also drive the next month's new features. We'll target a new area where we can.
Wow. Okay. Cool. So it's all happening at WPA. That's quite a story. Thank you for sharing that, Mike. Now, we've kind of come to the end of the questions, and it's been a very intriguing conversation for me because I know I knew some of that was going on, but some of it is clearly new to me as well. But thanks for sharing, and I think that'll serve as a good example to others who will be watching this around the art of the possible and what is possible. Because I've seen lots of organisations where they're nowhere near that level of AI enablement, if you like, or machine learning enablement. I think is probably my preferred way of depicting it. But just to bring this to an end, we'd like to make it a little bit fun. Now, I should have asked you this before we started, but I forgot, as because we had a bit of a tech disaster. There was no AI setting up this; it was me, and I got the time wrong, so I had to change it quickly. But I normally like to ask my guests a fun closing question, and it's usually one of four. So it could be a fun fact about yourself that most people won't know, or if you weren't working in technology, what other career would you have chosen? Best piece of career advice you've ever been given, or what advice would you give your younger self starting out in the IT industry today? You can take your pick of those, mate, and I'll
go for the career advice one. And
go on. Best bit of career advice you've ever been given.
Yeah, cool. It was a long while ago. A director at a software house that I was working at shared a piece of advice that I've always remembered and always try to live by. 3 rules: be inquisitive, never stop learning, and keep challenging the norm. I think these are 3 key rules for anyone in our industry. It keeps changing, and in the last few years, change has speeded up again. But I believe that everybody, whether they start in mid-career or onwards, these 3 rules will serve you well.
Yeah, cool. I'd probably agree with that. Actually, it's keeping learning is key if you want a career in IT. If you're starting out, or if you're at the end or midway through your career like us, mate. I was going to say at the end, being a bit harsh. Midway career like us, you do have to keep learning. That's
exactly.
Or you do get left behind. That's a really good piece of advice. Well, Mike, look, that's brought us to the end of this. Thank you for sharing your insights today. It's been very much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Mike for coming on. Mike, thank you for joining us. Cheers. And everyone else, I'll look forward to see you on the next episode.